Hello, welcome to tonight's live. It's not quite a pop up, but it's a little bit of a pop up. So take your time, get in the room, get your pen, your pad. It's going to be a little bit informal. I just am going to give you some options and ideas when it comes to saving money, boosting your income, getting more income. So if you want to like or share this live, so if you know anyone that wants to boost their income, this is a perfect time to get in the room so that we can talk about it. And hopefully you have some comments and I'll be able to give you some tips that maybe you didn't know about before that will help you in your journey. So I know we have the home buyers group in here. So if you have any questions as it relates to increasing or boosting your income, please drop them in the comments section and I will try to answer them. I am not going to take too long to get started. So one of the things I want to talk about when it comes to boosting your income that you should just know is that money, it's always opportunities to boost your income. There's opportunities all around you. So first you have to acknowledge and accept that it's out there. A lot of times when we're looking to boost our income or we're looking at our finances, we might be saying, there's just no way. I don't know how to make this more, how to expand this. And I want you to get that mindset out of your mind. So if you are here, please tell me where you are watching from. And if you're watching the replay, please put replay in the comments. Hey, Sherry, how are you? We're just getting started on how to boost your income. So these are things that there's an infinite number of ways to boost your income. So you're not getting everything here today, but you will get hopefully some tips that will help you along the way. And we're going to start with just kind of the lay of the live. I'm going to try to keep it as focused as possible. Hey, Sherry, watching from Atlanta. How's the weather in Atlanta? It's still a little cool here. We're in Maryland. Oh, hey, Houston, how are you? I don't see your name. And because I'm in one of the formats where it's not showing your name. So welcome to the room. Hopefully you'll get a lot of tips tonight that will help you. And you can share it with someone that can help them as well. And mostly all of these I know work. So one is really just about, there's very little get rich quick schemes. So if you're looking for the get rich quick scheme, I don't have that tonight. But I do have tried and true methods that will increase your income. And some of them you have to be patient. Some of them are trickle in. Some of them are quick. It just all depends on you and what is available to you. But first, you just have to know that there's always ways to make more money. Always. You just have to look around. You have to, we have that RAS where sometimes your brain will tell you what is available to you based off of what you believe. As soon as your belief opens up, all these other opportunities open up. You're like, wow, that was right there all along. You know how you can looking for something and you don't see it? It's because your RAS is blocking it out. That's RAS if you want to look it up. So let's get into it. One of the things, and the lay of the land tonight, my goal is to walk through what are the immediate things you can do that's within your immediate reach, in your immediate household. Then we'll move on to some of the things that are more external. And then I'll try to hit some passive, some remote, and then maybe some new opportunities. So that's my hope and goal for tonight. Just depends on how much time. And please talk to me, engage with me so that I can answer any questions that you might have along the way, or you might think of some things I haven't thought of and I could say it out loud so that everyone can hear it. My name is Raquel Carr. I am a financial strategist by trade. That's what I love doing. So anything that concerns with money, I get excited about. And I'm also a leadership strategist. So most of the things that I will tell you will be in line with those areas because that's the area that I have the most expertise. All right, so let's get into it. So the things that you can impact immediately is obviously your spending. So your budget, what's in your current household. When you really monitor your budget, you can give yourself an instant boost in income just like that. I remember one time I downloaded the bank account, and it was an insane amount. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it out loud, but trust me, it was an insane amount of money that was spent on fast food. And my husband was saying, we're not, I'm not spending any extra money. I just downloaded that account into Excel and tabulated all McDonald's and everything else. And that's it immediate. And that next cycle was immediate boost in our income because one, wasn't aware. The other thing that was happening was the kids was downloading those games. So there were subscriptions that was on the phones that was just recurring. So you want to go look at that. So you want to cut out waste. Waste will give you an immediate boost in cash flow that's coming into your house. And you want to monitor your spending and look at it because some things you don't even know that you're spending because it's a recurring charge. It's somewhere tucked away. So you want to go through all your subscriptions, all of your credit cards, anywhere where you might have some recurring subscriptions that are happening and see if you still need it. You know, sometimes we stream on some of the things we got in on a discount. It was 6 months free and now the payments are, it's no longer free, but it's Apple News or something. And you might not even watch the Apple News or, maybe you only watch Netflix and you have Hulu and you have all these other different, Amazon Prime. So just look at all your subscriptions, and that is a good way for you to get an immediate boost in your dollars. But you have to look at it and also monetize it. Another way is if you're saving, but you're only saving in a savings account, another quick boost is you can get a high yield savings account. You might see it abbreviated as HYSA. And they have a lot of great rates right now. You can just Google high yield savings. My personal favorite will forever and probably always be Amex. But I just like them as a company. And I want to just tell you that whenever you're working with companies, whenever there's an exchange of dollars and time, because time is money as well, and your intellect, you have to know that you're in business. So you're in business with your bank account, you're in business with your rental agency, your mortgage company, your credit cards. And I just have a personal philosophy that I only do business with organizations that treat me well. So if you've ever been down on your luck and your resources wasn't quite where you wanted them to be, and you were dealing with a company, whether it was a rental agency, whether it was a credit card company, whoever it was, and they kept you down while you were down, when you get back up, this is my rule. I do not even bend this rule. If you hurt me when I was at my most vulnerable, like in college, when I was in college, you know who hurt me? Discover card. I will never have my name on a Discover card ever. They send me all kinds of offers. Absolutely not. Now they hurt me at my most vulnerable and inflexible, etc. The other one, Liberty Mutual. My first house flooded and it came out, ripped up all the walls, and then they did not pay the claim. I will never have Liberty Mutual ever. Ever, 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 ever. So I'm just saying, when you're in business with people and they don't treat you right, when things go wrong, you have to remember that. And I personally carry that forward, whether you are a credit card company that reduced the balance, and then when things got better, they want to give you higher balance. No, you don't get any more money out of me. So just remember that when you're doing business with people. The other thing I don't do is I don't do free advertising. So you know how you buy a car and they have the car, CarMax or what, Infinity or wherever it is that you purchase, and they put their little emblem on the back. If they don't pay you, because that's free advertising, you're driving around. And every time you drive around, somebody's making a decision in their mind whether or not they want to purchase because you purchase. So I just want to tell you, if they say that they are not going to give you a discount, then immediately you tell them to remove that from your property, from, I don't care if you got a fence and they put their fence in it, you do not get free advertising. So that's just a sidebar. That's just my little side button. All right. The other way that you, and this right now we're talking about everything internal. What can you do internally? You don't really have to go out. We'll get to the rest of the stuff as we go along. But what are the things that you can do internal that you do not have to even that you can get an increase? So we talked about your budget, your spending. You also want to credit. Top tier credit is going to give you immediate boost. You get deals on everything. Anything that you're trying to get, you're going to get at half the price. You figure if you're buying a car and the interest rate is, I don't even know what some of the interest rates are going. I don't know how far car companies can still take you to, do some very crazy things. But if you have great credit, so your great credit is going to get you a lower interest rate. It's going to get you all kinds of perks and deals and access and things like that. So I know there's a lot of credit card companies out here where they say, oh, we can get rid of this, you don't have to pay this, and so forth. And, I'm not in the, I can get things off your credit business. So I'm not saying anything about those businesses, but what I can say is if you have good spending habits and you take care of your credit, it doesn't matter where your credit is today, because credit, money, all of that can all be changed very, very quickly. So you should never be discouraged about what your bank account looks like. You should never be discouraged about what your credit score looks like, because honestly, the second you start to pay attention to it and make moves, it will change. The second you decide in your mind that change has to come, you put the number that you want your credit score to be, and you will get there. And it doesn't take long. I mean, even in a very bad situation, in a couple of years, your credit can still rebound. And sometimes you're like, 2 years is a long time. It's not, because in 2 years later, it could still be poor, or it could be better if you make those steps. So I can tell you right now, if you get your credit to whatever great number that you want it to be, and you make a declaration that's where you want to get, so many other things opens up for you. I promise you. The system is designed that if you don't have enough, they make sure you never have enough. So one of just the clear cheat codes is take the time on your credit if you need credit. Now, if you got enough money, you don't need credit, but we're here to boost income. So we know that one of the easiest ways to boost your income is to have more access to different things. So this is not a credit conversation, but I can tell you that if you take the time to improve your credit score to over 720, and you need things moving, it gets you more access to a lot of things. All right, so again, make sure you talk to me. Those Apple charges, oh my gosh, let's not even talk about Apple charges. You have got to go into and I don't know what it is for Android, but where your picture is in your settings, and go check those periodically. Because sometimes you could have just clicked something, you said, it's a week and it's free, and then it catches you, because it doesn't give you sometimes a notice. So you want to definitely check your subscriptions. All right, let's move. So those are the things that you can control. You can control your eating, you can control your spending, you can control your budget. If you're saving and you put your savings on automatic, pay your bills on automatic, because then you avoid late fees and you deal with good companies. I cannot stress this enough. Let me just give you an example. My husband had, was it Capital One? I don't want to say the wrong credit card company, but I feel like it was Capital One. And they charge those annual fees that maybe you're not using the card and you do not have that annual fee on auto. Make sure that you go and see when it's due, and then you put it on auto, because what they do will give you all these fees. And as you know, banks, they set a budget for overdraft fees. What you don't want is to make people more money. So you want to make yourself more money. Remember that. But what I'm saying is, if I have a Nordstrom card, and a lot of times, there's a lot of conversations on the different types of cards you can get. But again, I say cards that treat you well, you stay with them. You're in business, you're in a relationship. That's why I like Amex. That's why I like Nordstrom's. But Nordstrom's credit card, I can't remember if it's a Visa or MasterCard, but anyway, it's a Visa. Let's say something happened and and I was late because, the bank didn't send a payment, or for whatever reason. If I call them and say, I don't have to call, I can send a message, they are going to immediately waive it. It's never going to be reported to my credit score, credit report. Now, the card my husband had, they did not care. Places like Wells Fargo, I mean, if you deal with a company that is just has terrible customer service, the quicker you can get out of business with them, the better. Even if, I'm not saying you got to close it, but you don't have to use it. You don't have to get them any interest. But just keep those kind of things in mind. When you work with good companies will work with you. And I just say that for the Nordstrom's, Visa, and the, um, because remember I told you about that house that the insurance company didn't pay. That was a whole debacle. And my credit suffered during that time. And when my credits suffered, that's when I noticed what companies was really supporting me. Companies I had been in business with for years, that I bank with, Bank of America. And when hard times hit, they act like my checks wasn't coming to the bank. So keep in mind companies that don't treat you well, because those are the ones that's going to continue to charge you large fees and all those type of things. So get out of business. One tip I can give you is get out of business. I'm not saying close accounts, but just don't give them any of your extra money. All right. So interest will kill your pockets. So when you, let's say you do have a car and your car has a high interest rate, and I see there was a client paying 19%. Oh my goodness. Honestly, good credit gets you 0 to 3% on a car. You should not pay more than 4% on a car. I promise you. And this is possible. This is not impossible. I'm telling you that if you're looking at everything else, and the one area you can improve, I promise you, if you improve your credit, and it can be done within 2 years in terms of just being laser focused and making sure the goal is to get it to where you need it to be. Listen, you should not be, your car note should be, your car should just be the price of the car. And if you do, I mean, this is how you do it. One, you work on your credit. You get your credit to where it needs to be, deal with all the issues that are on there. Two, when you go to the dealer, you already go with your check. That means you're getting approved by your credit union or your bank. You can do it two ways. You can do your bank first, because your bank is always going to be a little bit higher than the credit union. And then you always have a credit union on tap for this very purpose, because if you're getting a car loan, because credit unions usually have the lowest interest rate. And if anybody else has any other, so you get the check from your bank, and then you, after about 2 or 3 months, you refinance with your credit union. You're still talking anywhere between 6 and 2%. Those are kind of the ranges you should be looking at when it comes to a car note. So if you're at 19, or if you're at a high number, get your credit score to where it needs to be, and then refinance that car. Refinance anything that you can when your credit score was low, and when you improve it, so that you can get, and that's an immediate boost in your income. Now, sometimes I can tell you, a lot of times with the credit union, when you refinance, they do not change the payment amount, but the time period is reduced. So either way, you're not paying twice for the car, because when you start paying interest rates, 19 and 20 and 22%, and those type of rates, sometimes you're just paying for that car forever, and you'll never be out of the car. And even if you're paying more payments, so the best strategy for that is to get that car refinanced. Well, there's some other strategies, but that's a good one. Let me see if there's any questions. So that your bank will hold your checking account and not willing to give you a credit card. Oh, listen, let me tell you one of the things Bank of America did when that whole issue with my house. I was paying down on the credit card, the Bank of America credit card, and I have the Bank of America bank, and so when I would pay it down, let's say it was not $7,000, I would get it down to $6,500. They would reduce my amount to $6,500. So my credit score could not improve, because it looked like I was maxed out on my utilization each and every time. Again, they will never get not an interest dime out of me. So like I said, you're in business, and when you're in business with someone, because sometimes we think about business as if, if we have a business, but if you're in business with a credit card company, with a loan company, with you, anytime there's an exchange of money or time, that's a business relationship, and you need to treat it as such. So I can talk for a long time about money, so I'm going to stay on track. And I don't have, uh, so keep me honest on, so I was trying to keep this to 30 minutes, but let's see where we go. So again, I say this all the time because a lot of times when I say this, people don't do it. If you have not done so, run, do not walk to get you a high yield savings account, because one, you set it and forget it. Okay. Once you sign up, it's not attached to your normal login. Before you know it, after a year, you have not only interest on your savings, good interest, but you're growing your savings and you're not even thinking about it. And you're saying, I don't have any extra money to save. Everything is taken, even if it's $20. Okay. Now, if you're saying, I don't have any extra money, I don't know why I have this permanent smile on my face, but I get so excited about money. If you're working for an employer, let's get to these employers. I'm going to talk about employer for a good minute right now, because I just got an Apple. I just got an Apple. I hurry back to Android once I saw those monthly charges. Listen, I'm Team Apple. You cannot. I am Team Apple all the way. Do you know the seamlessness of having a Mac and an Apple and an iPad? I can hit copy on my phone and just paste on my iPad. I don't even have to hook up. We're not going to go there. But anyway, um, so the rates are really good right now for high yield savings. Now, when it goes low, it might go as low as 1.5, but right now you got 4.5%. And that's, it's not like a CD where it has to be in there for a certain amount of time. You know what else has had good rates is CDs short term. So if you want to do maybe a 12-month CD, you got some money that you want to put in there, you get those rates were really good. Not the long-term ones, but the short-term ones. So employer benefits. Did I skip something? So this is what I want to tell you about employers, because I see a lot of people working these jobs and they're not doing research. And I'm assuming that no one has told you how to properly research a company to make a decision. Because again, just like these credit card companies and everything else, this is a business relationship. They are getting something out of you. You're getting something out of them. The question is, what are you getting out of them? And a lot of times people go into jobs, they're going in because they're getting a paycheck. And it has to be more than that. I mean, that might be okay in the beginning, maybe when you first start working, but at some point you have to be strategic in terms of what is this employer giving you. So you're like, when I'm looking at employer benefits, what am I really looking for? Again, one of the things is you want to make sure they have a good retirement plan. Why? Because eventually you will retire. And I know that we're hoping that we get, a huge amount of money that's going to drop in our lap, and we won't have to, and that's great. However, if that does not happen, we have to take care of our future self. I'm going to say this 10,000 times because there's too many people that reach retirement age and cannot support themselves. And I want to make sure that is not you, so you can give yourself an immediate boost. Now, what kind of employer benefits? If you find a company that has a pension, top tier, okay? But a lot of companies have moved away from pensions. But if you're working for a for-profit, they should have a 401k. If you're working for a non-for-profit, they should have a 403b. You can also get market share, some share in their stock. So those are the things you want to look at, because that is free money. So sometimes free money, let me tell you why sometimes it's free money. So you want to look, do they match? So sometimes you go into a company and they will say that you don't have to contribute anything, but they will deposit up to, 5% of your income, but you have to stay for at least 5 years. And they kind of prorate how much you get out of that 5% over the 5 years if you leave early, but you usually always get something you said. So you want to make sure so you have to evaluate your employer. That's what I want to say first. Evaluate your employer. Just because you're working there doesn't mean you need to stay working there. Even if it's a good job, what are they offering you? Because it has to be, money is important. Stability is important. So I'm not, we're not going to say anything about that. If you need a secure job, you need a certain amount, you have something that you're about to go do in terms of buy a house, and you need to have a certain amount of paychecks. But you have flexibility and mobility to move. You don't have to accept. You don't even have to accept where you live. You don't have to stay where you live. And sometimes, because we grow up in certain areas and everybody's there, we think that we cannot leave. But oftentimes, you almost sometimes can double your income just by moving. And I'm not saying because the cost of living is higher, but everything will increase. Because when you go to a new place where you don't have all the familiarities that you have where you were, you are so laser focused and you are zoned in where you're not necessarily where you're at. So I want to encourage you that open up the realm of possibilities. It does not have to be where you're at. So evaluate your current employer. Is this a good business arrangement? If you are miserable every day at work, or you love your job but they're not meeting all needs. So these are some things that I'm going to tell you on how to increase your income with your current employer. So these are current things within your possibility. One, ask for a raise off the top. If you're a great employee, if you're doing great work, because we should always be doing great work wherever we at. Wherever we show up, we should be showing up doing our level best. So ask for a raise. Or do they have other opportunities within the organizations? And this is just me. I'm going to say that you always want to work for a company that has options, that is not just kind of a mom and pop shop, unless you're really passionate about that work. If you're not passionate about that work, I would encourage you to always work with a company that has money, that's making money. Because if you work with a company that has money and is making money, it doesn't matter if it's not for profit or for profit, then you have more opportunities to have advancement. And this goes regardless of whatever your skill set is. So so let's talk about what they should be giving you. You should have good benefits. You should be looking for companies that have good benefits. It's going to give you something. And by benefits, I mean good 401k, where you can put your money away and it will grow. You're getting guaranteed, for the most part, return on your investment over years and when you're given, if you are working for a company, you have not signed up for your retirement benefits, please go. Please run, do not hide. Even if you put $20 in there, and just increase over time as your comfort level. But I promise you, one day when you need it, it's going to be there to support and take care of you, because you are your own miracle. I promise you. So if you make those steps to take care of you, you will take care of you when you need it. So put money away, out of sight, out of mind, but it will definitely be a benefit. Nothing that they should be offering you is to increase your skills. So are they increasing your skill on your job so that you have opportunities to move around? Or are they providing tuition reimbursement, providing some type of training so that you can get different certifications? You want to look for companies that is going to help you to expand and to grow and to move up and level up. Everything shouldn't be so hard. So if you're working for an organization, those are the things that you're looking for. You're looking for your benefits. You're looking for good, good healthcare. You want to look for, are they going to support your education, your trade, or whatever that is. And wherever you are today, you don't have to stay there. You can always move along. I promise you that you would be surprised asking for a raise, and you're like, oh, they're not giving raises. This happens all the time. I promise you. Happens all the time. People say, oh, they're not giving raises. They're not giving increases. And guess what? Susan asked. Susan wrote a letter, and Susan documented what she's brought to the table. And it gets evaluated, and it goes to HR, and then HR starts making some decisions, and they see that, hey, even if you say, well, can there be a market analysis? Because this salary doesn't quite meet where I am today. Can you do a market analysis? And they will do it. You can go and test the waters out there, start applying for jobs, and see in some other places, what are they paying out there? And whenever you're looking for a job, you always keep your options open. Sometimes you have some honest employers and they're going to hire you for what the rate is, but you keep it open and you start to negotiate. You never take the first offer, you go back and forth. So those are some ways that you can get some immediate boost in your income just within your immediate scope. All right, so let's get into some of the other options. Let me see, make sure it's kind of some of the stuff is just so near and dear to my heart. So I'm gonna tell you now. This is some free. Let's talk about this. What are your skills? If you have some, drop them in the box. What are your skills? Because skills, you want to know, can you monetize your skills? Because a lot of us are very, very creative. We have a lot of options available to us that we just do not tap into. So you want to get a piece of paper, write out all your skills. It doesn't matter how small, how big, or how lofty you think they are, but write them out and then see if they are monetized. You might say, well, how can I get ahead in this? Now, we're going to talk about skills because almost everything requires some skill. Because even if I tell you some options that you can do passively, but you don't enjoy it, you don't want your side hustle to be a pain because it's going to be hard to keep up. It's going to be hard to continue to do that kind of work when you don't enjoy it or it's painful. I do have a savings manual that if you go on my link in my bio and there is, I think the second link is the savings manual. It's free, don't worry about it, but it does have an area in there where you can make money. And I don't want to go into all of those different areas, but Amazon has a plethora of things that you can do. However, and I'm not just talking about delivery, they have a whole lot of different things, but I have a whole chapter on that in that manual. So go ahead and look into it. So let's talk about your skill. Nursing, oh my goodness, you already know. If you're in nursing, listen, the options are endless. If you are bedside, let's get into it. If you are bedside, and let's say that's what you're doing on your main case management, quality department, they love to have nurses that do nursing reviews. But do you like reviewing charts? But this is one of the areas where, and this is not passive, but if we're talking about, because healthcare is my space of high interest. So nursing, there are so many. If you have a nursing degree, any kind of healthcare background degree, there are so many jobs in the entire sphere of healthcare that you can work in where you don't have to leave your house. Because if you're doing chart reviews for insurance companies, chart reviews for documentation improvement in the quality department, any of those things, you don't even have to leave your house. And usually the hours are extremely flexible, so you can always pick up side money doing that. You can obviously pick up side money doing nursing, but there are a whole lot of other areas where they want clinical people to do remote work. Does anybody have any other skills? So you want to look at all your skills. You want to write them out and see what you can monetize. Now, there's some things like saying, I don't have no skills. I have none. So I want you to Google PLR. Now, PLR is private label rights. So they have, you can go on Etsy. Everybody should know Etsy. You can go on Etsy and put PLR templates in there. Or anything that you kind of like. If you like, nutrition and you like working out, or you like anything that you kind of like, but you're not creative enough to come up with content, you can put PLR and put planners, or PLR and put workout, anything that interests you, kids, training, whatever it is, but you just don't have the time, the energy, or any of those things. And what PLR is someone else has created the content. It's vanilla, so they've created content, and then they give you the right to resell it at whatever way you want to resell it. So you then change the cover, change some of the content, because you might know enough about it, but you don't want to start from scratch, right? You could change all that. Then you can sell it. You can sell like one template, workout template. And a lot of them, they are in Canva. So you want to get Canva, you can get free, you can get the Pro. The Pro is not that expensive. I want to say maybe $12 a month. So you upload it, and then you make it your own. Minimal effort, and then you can resell it on Etsy. You can resell it on Stan Store. So STAN.STORE. They do is a store where you can have digital marketing, where you could sell digital products. That means you don't have to have a physical product. You can have an ebook, you can have a template, you can have just a plethora of things, and you can sell it for fairly cheap, especially if you only paid like maybe $10 for it, or you paid $5.99, and you might just sell it for, and you keep posting it on. Things start to keep talking about it, and you may tweak it a little bit. So these are things that there's a PLR out there. There's all kinds of ebooks out there. There's even courses that you can buy the rights to a course, and then you can sell the course. And on the Stan Store, you can sell it. And the reason why I say Stan Store, because if you're not really that invested, you don't have maybe a website or someplace else to sell it. So you can sell it on Etsy, or you can sell it on Stan Store, where you can have a course, and you can start tweaking it, and it might spark some of your creativity. But it can just be a digital download where you can be on the Stan Store. And Stan Store is fairly inexpensive when we think about all the other different places that you can sell stuff. They're about $29, I think, a month. So if you want to do, you really want to get creative, then they do have some higher models, but that can get you going. So digital products, if you go on Etsy too, they have PLR that's faceless reels. I think that's the thing out. Also, if you kind of put faceless reels or something like that in Instagram, you'll come up with people. There's a lot of influencers right now that are giving you free game on how you can create faceless reels in Canva using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is free as well. So ChatGPT can act as a researcher for you, and they can give you all kinds of tips and ideas, and then you just kind of put it into your Canva, and you can start becoming a faceless influencer per se. So you want this faceless reel. So those are at stan.store. It's not com, but STAN.store for you to sell your digital products on there. And this is not paid. I'm just letting you know that this is a good way that if you have anything that you want to sell that's digital, and you can buy it and then just kind of tweak it, put your little, your flavor on it. And you don't have to do a whole lot of work when it comes to creating any kind of things that's already out there. And you might get in and you might look at it and you're like, and it takes more work. But again, it might spark your creativity. The other thing is, if you have a little bit more money, but you want to gain some passive income, you can, there is vending machines that you can get into. And I know you hear a lot of people say that, but there's a company that will do the research for you, and it's about $150. And if you Google vending machine, start vending machine business, it comes up. It's $150. You put your zip code in, and they will look for all the available areas where you're at. They'll give you what comes with it. Also comes with the kind of what you want to talk to, because when you get a vending machine, where you can get the vending machines from, the document that you can use for a contract with whoever you're going to work with, and then they give you a bunch of ideas. Now, you do have to do the footwork and drive around to those different areas and see if that's an area that you want. And then you kind of buy the stuff from Costco, BJ, Sam's Club, and you fill it up. But they give you a lot of options that you can put into the vending machine. So it gets you on the way, but that does have some upfront costs. All the drive shares. I think you may have seen a lot where you can do medical delivery, where you're working for like LabCorp and things like that, where it's on your schedule. There is, and I'm just let me pull up the Amazon one, just because there's Amazon Influencer, there's Amazon Flex, there's Amazon where you're driving for them, there's Amazon Trade-in. Even buying off of Amazon, you might think when you go into Amazon, you can buy. There's a whole wholesale outlet Amazon. You have to just kind of key it in. Amazon has a ton of ways that when you can save money and make money, and not just going into regular Amazon. The other thing I just want to say is a little plug. And you might know this, but I find that some people don't know this. When you are shopping, always shop by the picture and not by the name of the item. So don't search whatever the item is, because what drop shippers do, and anytime you're on a lot of these websites, they're all drop shippers. So, and they're all sources from the same place. So instead of going in by the name, you do a Google Lens search, and then Google Lens will bring up that particular item everywhere. And then you know if you're getting the best price, because a lot of times we like Amazon because it's 2-day shipping, but we don't need it in 2 days. So you can get it almost half off by going to the actual vendor site or someone else that's selling it that still might be free shipping. However, it's going to take a couple more days. So if you don't need it right away, those are ways that you can save money. But this is about increasing your income. So let's get into it. And I think I might be I'm past my 30 minutes. I wanted to talk to you about we talked about a little bit of passive. We talked about what you can do inside your home. We talked about your skills and monetizing your skills. So the hour is getting late. Let me know if you have anything else that you want to know kind of immediately. I think I gave you some good options to get up. Peerspace. Now, I don't know if you have it, but if you go to Peerspace, listen, if you have space, there's almost someone somewhere that wants to rent it. So you can put your space, whether it's a garage, whether it's a room, you can make money off of your space. You can even make money off of selling other people's stuff, obviously, on eBay. You can sell your stuff. You might be, what I find is a lot of times, sometimes people, remember that show back in the day, and I can't remember what it was, but they would go in, I don't think it was Trading Space, but they would go in and they would do a yard sale and sell your stuff, and then your stuff, and they would use the stuff to remodel your house. And back then, listen, there was nothing in the house to sell. And I'm like, where did all these people get all this stuff? But now people have stuff, okay? And you might be a person that has stuff that you might need to purge. And purging will give you extra boost in your income, especially if you're moving and you're trying to get to your new house and all that. You do not want to take anything from your old space to your new space. You want to go in that new space and have that new space fresh, okay? So customer service jobs, they're usually remote. You can look up, and sometimes you can have jobs that this is one of the ways. Every place that you have called for customer service, mostly all of them are working from home. So you don't have to go look for LinkedIn or any of those things or for jobs or Indeed. The companies that you call are the same companies that have customer service that people aren't working in. So just do those companies. Look up those companies that you already are sourcing. And obviously, you can get dividends off the stock. If you don't know anything about stocks and investing, almost all of us have Cash App. So just start dipping your toe in it, Cash App, you have Robinhood, and start putting a little bit of money, see how things work. You want to buy low. And so when the stock is low, and they have penny stocks, they have 5-cent stocks. So just go out there and start experimenting just to get the fear out, so that you can start seeing some of them dividends come in. You want to see and again, any relationship you are in where money is being exchanged, you want to make sure that you know who you're in business with. And that is really all stocks is. You start to own a share of that company. So you want to know what kind of company it is, who's in charge. So you just do a little bit of research and see how they have been looking over time. If you're in Robinhood or even in Cash App, this is real small to get you started. They'll show you how they have performed over the last year. They'll give you advice. Start watching the Money Channel, so you can get some information on what different markets look like, because back in the day it was very scary and intimidating, and it wasn't a lot of access in. But now we have a lot of access. There's a lot of knowledge, and sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. However, if you start to do a little bit with your cash out, like every time you get paid and you say, I'm at $20, start with the stuff you use. If you drink at Starbucks, if you go to Sunoco or whatever you're getting your gas from, wherever you're shopping at, Start there, and then you start seeing how they perform, and then it gets a little exciting. And then you might want to do a little bit more and find a little bit more about, out about stocks, so that it just takes the fear out of it if you are fearful when it comes to uh, getting into stocks. So, has this been helpful at all? Switch jobs for higher pay. Okay, I don't believe you should stay in a job longer than 5 years, because what else are you getting out of that job after 5 years? And by job, I don't mean an organization, but after 5 years, you should have learned all you could have learned. If you were getting a degree, you should have gotten it by then. There are so many times I see where companies are offering $10,000 a year for tuition reimbursement, 5,000, and nobody takes advantage of it. However, there's a lot of complaints that I can't move up, or this isn't happening, or so forth. But there's education benefits, and it's not being utilized. It is just easy money there for you to advance your career, your skill set, and setting a goal and saying, "This is my time to grind, and I'm gonna make sure I get this certification." You should not be at a job where they're not certifying you in something, they're not giving you. That's when you're wondering if this is a good company that you're in. And then you start to make some decisions, but don't be afraid to change. Now, if you're saying, I don't want to change because I got the hookup, okay? And what was that? What's the guy, the comedian? He said, "They know I'm coming. I know I'm coming." Now, if you're that person, you know that you're you are not going to be on time, and this is a sweet spot for you. Stay there. don't move. However, if you know that you're giving your best and you want the best from an organization as well, and sometimes your best they can't really handle. Don't even get me wrong. If you're like a super achiever, but if you're giving great work, regardless if it's your grade or not, but you're giving great work, you want something in return, and that return should be in the form of salary. Because whenever you bring new people in, you notice if you've been working anywhere long enough, that new person coming in is always going to be paid more than the person that's been here 10 years. Why? Because the person that's been here 10 years ago has gotten a 2% or 1%. If they had to freeze during the COVID and all that, they no percent. And now they're bringing in new people, and they're going to get more. And sitting there being upset about it, disgruntled, is not going to change the dollars and cents on your paycheck. So you have to have the courage to make the move so that you can get greater, and if you're being frustrated and you're uncomfortable and everybody's getting on your nerves, it's time. That nest has already been rustled, and it's time for you to just go on and do something else. But if you've been at a job for a long time and you haven't acquired any skills and you haven't gotten any certification, that's the focus, that's the goal. This next 2 years, you're looking at what the benefits that they offer, and you're going to take advantage of them so that when you leave here, you are greater than when you came. Wherever you go, you should have acquired something out of the deal, and it can't just be the paycheck. It has to be more than that. So unless that's all you really need, it's a side hustle, or if it's something that you need for a short period of time. But if you're somewhere, they should be advancing you. Absolutely. Don't overstay. I think 5 years is like a nice sweet spot. By the time you hit 5 years, it's new things that you can do. You kind of get tired of the same thing anyway, most people. But sometimes we just get comfortable. And that comfort, oh my gosh, have you in a chokehold. So I want you to look at, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? Stop waiting for, oh, please, this is another pet peeve of mine. Do not wait for anyone to promote you. You have the authority to promote yourself. Listen, if they don't want to promote you, you go someplace where you can get the promotion that you so desire. So if it's not serving you, and this relationship is no longer serving the way you need it to, broaden your horizons. I have never waited for someone to promote me. It's like the second is, it's no longer working. You move on to what would be working. That's why you can't complain. You complain is like, okay, what's my piece in this? How have I contribute to that? Because if you they keep bringing people in, they get paid more, they get promoted, you keep training them. At some point, you got to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm contributing to this. The person I need to be mad at is me. And now that I'm mad at myself, I have to now make a change. So make the change. It will be refreshing. It will be exciting. You'll learn new things. Now, if you're afraid and you don't want to grow, that's fine too. Just don't complain about it, because those are, you've decided that this is working for you. So sometimes you just gotta recognize it. I went somewhere and the place had just opened. The lady had was upset and angry. It was one of them government agencies. I'm like, how are you this mad this early in the morning? You just got here. So if you're at that place, then you have to say, I decided to come here. This is where I want to be because I made the decision. We're not, you may say, well, I need this job. If you need it, okay. But know that you are valuable beyond measure, and you don't have to necessarily stay there. You can start to make some decisions for a change. Sometimes, we just haven't gotten permission to change. We're so used to complaining about where we are that we forget that we choose this every day. So every time I complain, I'm like, I kind of chose this. So I got to make a decision if I want to leave it or if I want to move on. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope if you're creative, that you look at your skills and find ways to monetize it. And if you're not creative, you want to use some PLR and some Chat GPT, that you go ahead and do that as well. Because, and then you just kind of expand. You start taking, right down where you want to be. Boost the credit. Get your credit score to where it needs to be. And trust me, the world opens up. The world. And once you start living at that level, you won't want to go back. Okay. And credit cards, you should be receiving credit cards over 10,000 and above. Like credit card companies that want to keep you at 500, 600, 200, 300. And my other pet peeve is store credit cards. Now, I did tell you I have a Nordstrom card, but it's a Nordstrom Visa card. And it's just they treat me well. However, store cards are trapped. At TJ Maxx and all the ones like, oh, you got all these coupons. Don't use them if you're really using them and you're using them for the benefits. But don't get sucked into having a recurring balance and they keep sending you, what is it on your phone, the little text messages and emails and this deal and that deal, and then you're in this cycle of continuing to spend money with them, and then you got all this stuff in here that you don't need, and then you need to do a Facebook sale. Okay. Oh, so you got Turo, you can use your car, and I think if your car is 2012 or younger, then you can, or maybe it's 2013 now, or younger, you can use your car for Turo. Look that up. You can use your house. So those are anything that's why you always want to own. You want to be in ownership, because if you own anything, then you have the opportunity to be able to sell it. You have the opportunity. So you want to keep those things in mind. And the other thing, don't dip into your 401k, your retirement, unless you absolutely like. There is no other option. Other than that, trust me, you're going to need that, and your future self is going to thank you so very much. All right, so it has been lovely hanging out tonight. Thank you for the interaction. One last question. What was your take on working 2 WFH jobs at once? What does WFH mean? I'm not good at work from home. Oh, that just came to me. Look at God. Okay. I hope that's what it is. Work from home jobs at once. Listen, let me tell you about work from home. This is why I say if you're going to do side hustles, it's got to be something that you enjoy. Now, I've seen videos where people are doing 2 jobs at once, meaning in this 8-hour span, I'm doing both jobs. Now, if you can handle that, handle that. If you're doing one job and then you're doing another, what I would say is that you're not getting any vitamin D. You're not moving, and you're not getting up out your seat, and you're not getting any sunlight. And that is detrimental to our health. I'm just going to be very, very honest with you. You won't necessarily notice, because now you want to stay in the house, but you'll be wondering why you have some area of sadness, depression. You might be like, I'm fine, this is where I want to be, but then you're not going out. Your body, we need socialization. Even if we are introverts, and I'm a team introvert, we need socialization. That helps our brain, because when you're looking at a screen, your brain is really not operating at its most effective state. So I'm just telling you from a health perspective, because we need you. You need to be here more than you need to work, these different type of jobs. So you have to be strategic in how you spend your time. So like I said, if you're working the same job within those 8 hours and you can get both of them done, that would be ideal. But if you're working 2 whole jobs and you're never getting up from this computer is not good for your mind. It's not good for your eyes. It's not good for you to sit that long. And I have one of those little workout things underneath the desk. It's not practical. Like they do it, I got them like, oh, I'm going to be working out. Well, this is what it looks like. So if you're on a conference call and you're on a thing, you're doing this. You can't, nobody wants that. So it's not even a good option. So don't do that. Don't you, if you're going to do it for a certain amount of time, but your body will start to, you need to take supplements. You need to take vitamin D, you need to take some B12. You need to make sure that your body is getting the nutrients that it needs because it's not getting any sunlight. And are you drinking enough water? Because you should just have a gallon of water sitting there, because if you have a gallon of water and you drink most of that, or at least a half a gallon every single day, your body will make you go to the restroom. So your body will be forced to move. You can get blood clots just sitting in one place for too long. So I just stress that if you're going to do it, make sure you're smart about whatever second job or whatever side hustles that you do, that your body, that your mind is the most important, that you have to still care for yourself. And that gets lost when you work from home a lot. So that is what I would encourage you. I do have a conference, shameless plug. I do have a conference coming up in less than 2 weeks. Definitely come out if you want to talk about some money. I'm in Maryland. Link is in the bio. It's SOAR 2 times more, 2x more. We are going to have a phenomenal time together. So please join me. If you need some saving tips, I have a free savings manual out there. It's like 12 chapters. There's a lot of great things in there. And when I really needed some extra money, I did extreme couponing. So I did a lot of, I gave you some good information on that as well, because that is all about strategy and it's a little bit addictive. So watch out for that. When you start saving money, it becomes the thing that you always want to do. So have an absolutely great night. I enjoy spending time with you. And until next time, I want you to soar and make sure you take care of future you and today you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.